Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
For the moments that matter, choose Curad Naturals. Infused with aloe vera and vitamin E, Curad Naturals bandages protect your unexpected scrapes, cuts, and burns while also moisturizing your skin. Find deeper relief with natural ingredients you can trust to start the healing. When life's surprises call for the best, choose Curad, a deeper level of care. Shop the full collection on Amazon or visit Curad.com to learn more.
That's what Knick fans expect. They expect us to beat Cleveland and take on the winner of Oklahoma City and San Antonio. Here he is, dear friend and the best NBA voice ever, Mike Breen. Mike, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, Sid. Very special thanks to our man Lou Rufino for playing a little Jethro Tull in there.
He knows.
He never forgets.
he never does forget. That is attached to you like the Knicks. I mean, are you happy about that? How is that for you?
I'm a huge Tull fan. I'm boycotting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until they get them in there. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is a great place, but they need to get Jethro Tull in there.
You know, I agree with you. This is clearly anti-Semitism.
It's crazy how they're not in it. Absolutely crazy.
Well, why not? Well, I guess Ian Anderson is not very likable. I don't know. That's what Lou told me.
Oh, I didn't know that was the reason.
I don't know. I agree with you. They should be in the Hall of Fame. Let's get on that, okay? Noam, send a letter to somebody, will you? We want Jethro Tull in the Hall of Fame, okay?
I'll get on it right now.
Mike's in the Hall of Fame. Mike's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, of course, because he's the best, the absolute best. And we got this Eastern Conference Finals coming up, but yesterday, you probably weren't listening. You may have been traveling back from Detroit, where he did the Game 7 for the Pistons and the Cavs. But making his second appearance on Sid and Friends in the Morning late yesterday morning, Mike Breen was the 27-year-old. How about that? 27-year-old Wyatt Imus.
It's crazy,
right?
Crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
I heard the first time you had him on, and he's such an impressive young man. It just to think that the I-Man now has a 27-year-old. God rest his soul, but that's wild. But very impressive young man, don't you think?
Oh, I love him. He is a very impressive young man, very respectful, very nice. Had a long conversation with Deirdre yesterday about Wyatt. And, you know, look, we go back a long way. You were part of that show even before me. But like you said, Wyatt is now 27 years old and your best buddy, really your best buddy, and I loved him dearly. But he's got 2 grandchildren now, Bernard McGurk. So when you think back to all those great years together, Mike, and all the fine people we met, and now we're talking about kids and grandkids, and our friends have left us.
Yeah, it goes by very quickly. I think of Bernard quite a bit. Thankfully, there's still some videos that I pop on every once in a while, and it makes me laugh every single time. A special, special guy.
Wyatt Imus, he is and was a very, very special guy, and I miss him dearly, and so does our audience. Well, wouldn't you know it that Wyatt Imus is listening right now and just texted me. He said, Mike Breen is the man. I've been texting with him for a while now. A little bit, he said. So Wyatt is listening right now, Mike. How about that?
Yeah, no, I owe him a phone call. We've been texting back and forth, but I've got to. I want to catch up with him because I've been so impressed with his appearances. It was very nice of you to have him on.
Oh, why not? I love the kid. He's great. And he's a big Knick fan. You know, his father, we never really knew, Mike, did we, what team Imus was rooting for? I guess it depends on who won the night before, right?
By the way, I've noticed your ability to do the show and text at the same time is very impressive.
Yeah, no one else can do that. Nobody in the whole industry can do that except for Stan Van Gundy.
I don't know if that's the case, but you have that ability to be able to talk and text at the same time.
So you've never done that sitting at the Garden during a Knick game? You've never called a play on the court and texted Rowe at the same time? That never happened?
No. What now? During timeouts, I might.
Right.
I'm not good enough to do both at the same time. Steve.
I think you are good enough. I think you're great. So look at this series. What a wacky series between Detroit and Cleveland, right? The home team, they held serve. Detroit won the first two at home. Cleveland went home. They won the next two. And then the road team won every game after that, and they won by big numbers. The home team wasn't even competitive. I don't remember a series like that.
Yeah, it was the last two games were two of the strangest games because you had the Cavs a chance to clinch on their home court in Game 6, and they played probably their worst game of the playoffs. Then you have Detroit after that inspiring dominant win in Game 6 to force a Game 7 at home, and that's one of the worst Game 7 home performances I've ever seen, and it was shocking because they were a team that was so good defensively. They could still win even if they shot poorly, but their defense let them down. And that was shocking because they were as good a defensive team as any team really in the league all year.
What's interesting is when the Cavs got Harden, and I don't follow it as closely as I used to, obviously, because I spent a lot of time talking about, I don't know, Israel, Iran, President Trump, but I follow it pretty closely. And I know that Jim Harden is a Hall of Fame basketball player. Now, look, he has had his rough goes during the playoffs and hasn't played well a lot. But I always say this, Mike. Give me that Hall of Fame guy. Let me take my chances. People are like, oh, Cleveland's done. He's a cancer. He never shows up in a big game. Give me that Hall of Fame guy. I'll take my chances. And it looks like Jim Harden has paid off.
Well, first off, you must know him well because you're the only person I know that refers to him as Jim Harden.
That's correct. No, I actually texted him. Now, you're laughing because you think I'm kidding.
Texting you now, too?
Yes. I get texts from BB, Trump, and Jim Harden.
No, you're right. It's going to be a long, tough series. The Cavs are really good. They went through, obviously, changes. Midseason, they made this huge trade, and they got a couple of key players who really helped them. And Harden, I keep saying this, continuity for a roster is so important for success. So it takes a while sometimes, especially when you have a guy like James Harden, who has been ball dominant in his career, not as much as he used to be, but it takes a while to get comfortable and get in rhythm when that's now your point guard. And they did well in the regular season. They've had their ups and downs in the playoffs, but they're a dangerous team. I mean, He's had some brilliant playoff games in his career. He's had some really rough ones, too. But he's capable of throwing up 30 easily. And he has torched the Knicks in all the games he's played against them, all regular season. He's never played the Knicks in the playoffs. So he could be a problem. And then you add his backcourt mate in Donovan Mitchell, who's one of the great playoff scorers of all time. You throw in Mobley and Jared Allen. Those are two terrific big men. It's going to be a really, really hard series.
I agree with you. But look what the Knicks did, right? They're down 2-1 to the Hawks. And I remember I had Stephen A. Smith on that morning when they the morning after they fell behind 2-1. And I said, Steve, the happiest guy in the world is right now. And he said, who would that be, Sid? I said, Tom Thibodeau. Right? I mean, they got rid of this guy. He was 2 games away from the NBA Finals. Seemingly doing a very, very good job. They get rid of him, and now Mike Brown is losing in the first round to the Atlanta Hawks. By the way, the Knicks have not lost a game since. They've won 7 consecutive games, most of them in incredibly dominant fashion. He's going 9 deep, which Tom Thibodeau could never do. So clearly the change to Mike Brown, at least so far, seems to be helping the Knicks in these playoffs.
Yeah, Mike Brown's done an exceptional job. Tom Thibodeau did an exceptional job. It was a risky move, but what Mike Brown, he brings some different things to the table, and I've been so impressed with 2 things. Number one, how he didn't panic after it was 2-1, and as you know, here in New York, it's Armageddon when the Knicks are on the verge of maybe getting eliminated.
Right.
But he didn't panic, and he made some adjustments, and he's very open to suggestions from his assistant coaches, from the players on his roster, and he's not afraid to admit, you know what, this idea worked. It wasn't my idea, it was my assistant's, or as the players came and told me they wanted to do this. And that tells you something about it, that he knows he doesn't have all the answers. He knows he's still learning about the team, and he's done a great job managing it. And right now, they're playing as well as anybody in the playoffs. This 7-game stretch, Sid, the point differential they've had in their first 10 games of the playoffs is the largest in NBA history. They're not just beating teams, they're dominating teams. And I know Philly had some problems, and Atlanta, you wouldn't call an elite team a really good team, but the Knicks have played some beautiful team basketball. Even Clyde has mentioned it reminds him a little bit of his team in terms of how they're sharing the ball and playing together defensively.
Well, that's a big statement coming from Clyde, who won 2 championships. That's the last time we won, 69 and 73. And they did share the ball well. They had 8-9 guys who went out there and contributed, like this team is doing right now. But you got to look at the superstars still, right? You talked about Harden and Mitchell, and we've got 2 superstars. I don't want to discount what Josh Hart means to the team and some of these other guys, but Brunson and specifically Towns. This is a new Towns. And this does go to the Brown-Thibodeau difference because, let's face it, as far as we know, he didn't really like Thibodeau, Towns. There seems to be a different Carl Anthony in these playoffs. And that 1-2 punch for the Knicks, I think you got to put him right there at the very top all-time 1-2 combos for the Knicks.
Well, what Towns is doing is extraordinary. He's changed his game. Like in the game against Atlanta, the clinching game against Atlanta, I think he took 4 shots. He's not even averaging 10 shots per game. And this is a guy who's known for his scoring. What he's done, he's filled the role as a playmaker just beautifully. He's playing probably the best consistent defense he's ever played. But more importantly, he's showing the way of sacrifice. Look, I'm sacrificing shots. I don't care if I score. I like distributing. I just want to see us win. He's the only guy that has played in the last 3 Western Conference Finals. So he's been close to the finals, but hasn't been there. He just wants to win. And what he's showing is he's backing that up by playing that way in such an unselfish manner.
I think Knick fans, you said it, the Cavs are going to be tough. They're a real good team with a couple of Hall of Famers and Mitchell and Harden. But I think Knick fans will be really, somewhere between angry and disappointed if this team doesn't win this series. Despite how good Cleveland is, I really believe Knick fans, and they may be a little too cocky, just expect to win. But they got to win 4 games first. I'll tell you, I go back to 94. Mike, were you doing the Knicks back in 1994?
Yeah, I was doing radio.
You were doing radio. So let's go back to the finals. The Knicks are taking on the Rockets, okay? And all these people are inside Madison Square Garden watching this series. And then all of a sudden, nobody's sitting in their seats. They're all by the concession stands watching the TVs because there's a white Ford Bronco chase with O.J. Simpson and A.C. Cowlings. And isn't it ironic that yesterday, as the Knicks get set to start the Eastern Conference Finals, that Mark Furman, who became kind of the star of that O.J. trial, he died yesterday, bringing back memories of 1994, right?
Yeah. I saw the news about Mark Furman, and I remember that game so well. It's Game 5. I'm sitting doing radio in the booth, and we had a TV monitor. And I'm a young broadcaster. That was the biggest game I've ever broadcast, and I'm losing my focus because I'm watching the Bronco because NBC had a split screen. They had the Bronco and they had the game. And I remember saying to my statistician, Harry Robinson, hey, Harry, you got to turn the TV off. I can't concentrate. And he went to turn the TV off, and that old broadcast location was in the middle of the stands. It was about 10 rows up. And all the fans around us, who we knew from being around all year, they're screaming at me, no, you can't turn the TV off. They wouldn't let me turn the TV off. Yeah. So here it is. It's the biggest game I've ever broadcast in my career. And I couldn't concentrate because of the compelling thing that was on the television with the white Bronco. Hilarious.
Final 30 seconds. Will Jim Dolan finally get some credit in this city for this Knick team? Or, I don't know, people are so angry about Isaiah and Phil Jackson and Larry Brown and all that.
Well, what he did by bringing in Leon Rose, and that was it's kind of an out-of-the-box thinking because Leon Rose had never worked in a front office, but had been a player agent and a really successful one. So he took a chance on Leon Rose, and what Leon Rose has done has been extraordinary. When he took over the team, I think they were like 21-45. He started in March, and all of a sudden he hires Thibodeau. Julius Randle became a good player, and then one of the great free agent signings in NBA history is Jalen Brunson being signed, and he's added to those pieces. And he's built it the right way. He's been very pragmatic. Didn't want to hit home runs. He just took his time, slowly built, and now this is a team that has a shot to win a championship. And this comes after many, many dark years where they were really bad. So Jim Dolan's hiring of Leon Rose was the first major step in what's turned the whole team around.
Exactly. We're giving Jim Dolan credit here. Mike Breen just did. Mike, not only are you the best basketball announcer ever, but you're just the sweetest guy. You've been great to me all these years. From the day I first met you, which you may have forgotten, but Mark Chernoff said, go, you'll meet Imus or Rockefeller Center. He's doing his radiothon. And I sat in the bullpen with you and Mike Francesa. And I said to you, Mike, I'm about to meet Imus for the first time. What is your advice? And you said, it was one word. Run. You're beautiful. I can't love you more than I do. You're a great, great friend. I know you don't do this at all, radio, so thank you so much for doing this for me, Mike Breen. Thank you. Enjoy the games. You're great.
So proud of you, Sid. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. The great Mike Breen, I love him so much. We talk quite a bit. He'll send me texts every now and then, and I like this, and, stop doing that, and I love all of it. Mike Breen, the Knicks and Cavaliers, Game 1 later on tonight. Nobody better.
He's amazing.
And that's him. Like, there's nothing phony about Mike. It's not made up. It's authentic. He's just a really
good person.
Yes.
Yeah, just fun to be around.
Yes.
And smart, and he's great
funny.
doing the basket. And
God,
hilarious.
He is funny. Oh, my God. Doing sports on Imus, Bill from White Plains, all that great stuff. Mike Breen, we love you. And Wyatt sends his regards. I think we're done for today. That's it, Lewis.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?